In the bustling streets of Konoha, a sleek black cat perched on a weathered stone wall. He was a stray, but something had changed about him recently. A human soul named Takeshi now resided within the half-year-old feline, imbuing it with human wisdom. Takeshi couldn't fathom how he had traveled through dimensions, only recalling a menacing black cat blocking the road and his own untimely demise by a passing car. When he awoke the following day, he found himself in the form of a cat, memories and human consciousness intact, but unable to speak. Fortunately, he possessed a cheat that could alter the course of his life, the bully system. Host: Takeshi. Age: half a year old. Points: 32. Chakra: not applicable. Ability: claw attack, flexible body, innate ability. Item space: Fish X1. The marketplace was brimming with tantalizing goods, but Takeshi hesitated to explore. The cheapest special cat food cost a staggering 100 points, which promised to enhance a cat's physical prowess if consumed regularly. Even the possibility of evolving him into a ninja cat was within reach if he could actually afford it. The Metamorphosis pill, worth 1,000 points, allowed a cat to shed its normalcy and gain the ability to utilize chakra. With a single pill, Takeshi could become a ninja cat. Among the other items were special techniques, Jutsus, Kekkei Genkais and more, each carrying an exorbitant price tag. Takeshi also discovered a gacha function, offering 101 shots, with 10 consecutive shots rewarding an extra shot. However, as he stared at the meager 32 points in his possession, he understood that he had a long way to go. He was in dire straits and couldn't afford anything. There was no other choice. In order to rid himself of the weak young kitten status and accumulate more points, Takeshi would have to continue his mischievous ways. He glanced guiltily at a nearby sushi restaurant owner, who watched the alley with a cautious eye, and decided against stealing his fish for today. Instead, he would harvest points from another unsuspecting victim. At that moment, a young man wearing goggles raced towards him in a panic. Uchiha Obito? Perfect. Just a perfect target. Takeshi licked his paws, then leaped up and landed in the middle of the road with a ferocious roar. Nyap. Kitten, don't block the way, I'm almost late. Obito was worried. Though being tardy was practically a daily occurrence for him, who wouldn't want to avoid punishment if they could? Meow. Takeshi roared again, acting as if he is a powerful tiger from the jungle. However, he forgot that he was merely half a year old. A half-year-old cat that had just gained the ability to survive on his own and was still in the kitten stage. His meowing and ferocity didn't quite match up, and no matter how powerful he was, he still sounded like a baby. So Obito was not angry. He was just anxious and wanted to go around, but the cat was incredibly agile, darting back and forth, blocking his path. Please let me go. I'm going to be late. I don't want to be punished. Obito was desperate. Yet, even in his desperation, he didn't viciously want to kick Takeshi or anything else. Instead, he begged the kitten for mercy. I have to say, he was indeed a kind-hearted Obito. It's a pity that Madara would arrange crazy things for him in the future. Takeshi sighed inwardly. Then, he heard a bell ringing, which was the sound of classes starting at the Ninja Academy. Obito was already late. At the same time, on the system panel. Prank, Block Cat, completed. You have earned 150 points. Sorry. For 150 points, I could only wrong you. Takeshi felt guilty and silently moved out of the way, planning to let Obito pass. However, he then thought about it. He was still a homeless cat. Wouldn't it be nice if he could team up with Obito? Obito is so kind and has a good temper. He is simply a living tool to earn points. Worth considering. Takeshi pondered for a moment, and Obito rushed over ecstatically, but after running a few steps, he came back. Kitten, thank you. I'll treat you to dried fish when I get out of academy. Stupid human, you are already late. Takeshi complained in his heart. As a cat, his hearing was much stronger than that of humans, so he heard the bell but didn't let Obito know that he was already late. Seeing that Obito was about to run away, he quickly moved to catch up. This cat is slow, don't run. Cats are generally very fast and agile, but Takeshi was only half a year old after all, so he was not quite fast as to challenge academy student. Fortunately, Obito was not a genius. So, Takeshi could barely catch up. The door of the ninja academy was about to close. Obito quickly squeezed in and rushed to the classroom. Takeshi jumped up the wall leisurely, tracking Obito's steps gracefully. Lightness and agility were probably the only advantages of transmigrating into a cat. Takeshi thought to himself. After rushing as fast as he could, Obito stood by the door of the classroom. He saw a group of students sitting upright and listening to the lecture, and he immediately understood that he would face the tragic fate of standing at the door like a security guard again. But he still at least had to try to explain. "Sorry, Sensei, I was blocked by a black cat, so I was late." Black cat blocked the road? Instantly, the classroom erupted in laughter. The teacher on the stage, Shiranui-sensei, fell silent. How big a black cat would it take to block the way of someone as large as you? Aren't you an academy student, especially on verge of graduating? He didn't know what to say for a moment. This was the most bizarre and outrageous lie Obito had ever told since he went to academy. I didn't lie. Obito's face turned red. The next second, a cat appeared and jumped onto his shoulder through the windowsill. Looking at the class full of students, Takeshi licked his paws and then meowed fiercely. Certainly. Takeshi actually wanted to make a roar sound, but his throat was not strong enough, and he could only make this soft sound. "Sensei, look, it's this cat." Obito was overjoyed, believing he would absolved of his sins. "Ha ha ha ha, I can't believe this. Obito is so stupid, that cat isn't even a year old, right? He's really an idiot. How can he be considered a ninja even if he can't get around it? It's such an embarrassment to Uchiha." The whole room burst into laughter, and those who laughed and were angry were naturally the Uchiha clansmen. The half-year-old cat actually stopped an Uchiha clan member. If this were spread around, all Uchiha would be made a laughingstock. Obito blushed and didn't know what to say. The black cat is really blocking the way. Shiranui-sensei sighed and said, "Okay, don't laugh, everyone. Obito is just a little bit kinder. Go back to your seat and listen carefully. Let the cat go outside first." "Yes. Thank you, Sensei." Obito suddenly became happy again. He thought he was going to have to stand and listen, but he didn't expect to be able to sit down. This was the first time that he was not punished for being late. Takeshi was very satisfied. Although he didn't complete his intended prank just now, he still gained more than 70 points based on his previous block cat deed, and now he had more than 250 points on hand. The Metamorphosis pill progress bar suddenly reached a quarter. The Obito as a points-gaining tool was indeed quite useful. He was lying outside the door, quietly listening and observing Shiranui-sensei's lecture. Shiranui-sensei was talking about the fine circulation and precise control of chakra. Takeshi felt that the course was very useful to him. After all, he would become a ninja cat sooner or later. This knowledge would help his understanding and usage of chakra in future. Humans and cats were different biologically, but chakra at its core is same. He listened for a long time and felt that he had gained a lot, and even tried to circulate it. Unfortunately, cats' biology is far too different from humans, and the methods told in lecture won't be helping me in circulating chakra. For now, I can only focus on earning points. It's good that cat didn't follow me inside the class. Obito muttered after sitting in his seat beside Rin. He was a little surprised that when he reached his class that the cat had followed behind. He knew that if the little black cat followed inside class, he would probably be thrown out by Shiranui-sensei. He allowed the cat to watch, but he did not allow them to enter the classroom. Cats can be very smart. Noera Rin, who was sitting next to him, whispered with a smile. "Yeah. Yes." Obito pondered for a moment, and recalled back to the moment when he met the black kitten. Haha, the kitten was acting so fierce. Maybe this is a genius cat with ambitions just like himself. Obito adjusted his goggles, and then listened to the lecture. As a student, he was quite diligent, but his talent was not good, and his foundational knowledge of various topics was not well formed, so he had a hard time comprehending topics that go in depth. Meanwhile, Takeshi, the black kitten, was observing the class, trying to figure out how to earn points. Takeshi had learned that pranks could earn points, as well as others promoting his deeds and so on. Thinking of this, Takeshi moved his paws. Playing a prank on a Chunin would definitely get more points, but Takeshi didn't dare to target him. That was a Chunin. I can't even beat these little brats with my own strength, let alone a Chunin teacher. For the sake of my own life, I'd better settle for the next best thing. He got up and walked along the wall to the back door. There were several people sitting at the back door, one of whom was a girl. The girl is well dressed and has pretty eyes. She is still young, but at first glance she is an out-and-out beauty. Sitting behind her is a shameful young idiot, Sarutobi Asuma. So lovely. Asuma sighed in his heart as he stared at Yuhi Kurenai intently. He didn't listen to the teacher by the board at all, because the content in the class had been taught to him for 3rd Hokage and he didn't need to learn it again. Takeshi decided to teach him a lesson. As he cat, his stealth skills has been boosted, so he sneakily approached Asuma, and then, whoosh. What the hell? Asuma was watching intently when a black shadow suddenly flashed past his eyes, and then a kitten appeared on the table. What frightened him the most was that the cat stretched out its claws to scratch at Yuhi Kurenai's clothes. The children sitting a bit further from her stared at the cat and did not dare to move much, so they could only wait for Asuma to stop it. No, no. Asuma screamed in his heart, and quickly stretched out his hand to stop this cat, but at this moment, whoosh, the little cat slapped Yuhi Kurenai on the back, then jumped off the table and ran away. Kurenai Yuhi turned her head in confusion and saw Asuma stretching out his hand towards her back. Sarutobi-san, is something wrong? No, actually, it was the black cat that patted your back. I just wanted to stop it. Asuma blushed. We can testify. The 2-3 students in the last row whispered in agreement. But Kurenai looked around and didn't see the cat at all. Then she glanced at the door and saw the cat lying there lazily. Kurenai turned her head and glared at Asuma angrily. How did the cat reach from here to there in barely a second and without being noticed? Asuma was confused. The cat had obviously patted Kurenai's back just now, but in a blink of an eye he was back to the front door. How could a cat be so cunning and shameless? That's enough, Asuma. Kurenai shouted angrily, then turned back to look at the podium, but she silently moved her chair forward to guard against Asuma's corrupted intentions. Takeshi felt quite proud and stuck out his tongue in Asuma's direction. He's laughing at me? Asuma was annoyed, but class was in session right now and he couldn't do anything to Takeshi, he could only endure his anger. Damn cat, I will beat you up after class, he said to himself angrily. Takeshi looked at the 300 points that had arrived on the panel and felt very happy. This success caused a misunderstanding between Asuma and Kurenai, so the points were twice as high as the previous blockcat deed, but there was still nearly halfway points to buy the Metamorphosis pill. The goal has not yet succeeded, so I will need to keep trying. But looking at Kurenai's disgusted look at Asuma, and looking at Asuma's angry look, Takeshi laid down for some time, and then moved to other classrooms. Naturally, there is more than one class in the Ninja Academy. There are many students of different ages downstairs. In one of the classes, Takeshi saw a cute little girl. The hair and makeup are very eye-catching. Although it is a bit different from what I remember, I can still recognize this as the young version of Anko Mitarashi. Quite an iconic Lolita. Takeshi squatted his eyes and stared for a while, unable to move his eyes away. So cute. Why would such a cute child turn into that kind of mean-looking chubby ant in the future? At this time, he discovered that Anko was secretly eating dangos. Stop, you can't eat sweets. Takeshi wanted to shout, but in the end he endured and approached Anko silently. Anko sat in the last row, which was a convenient position for her to eat secretly. But this is also convenient for Takeshi. He squatted behind, found the opportunity, jumped up, swallowed the dangos that Anko poked with a bamboo skewer, then landed and fled quickly. Anko turned around and the little black cat ran away a dozen paces. She couldn't hit him unless she rushed out. But her anger couldn't be suppressed. I only ordered barely few dangos and one was snatched away by it. So she looked around for the black cat, and finally hesitated for a long time before picking up another ball and throwing it like a shuriken at high speed. But in the cat's eyes, this ball couldn't be slower. Takeshi stretched out his paws disdainfully, slapped the ball to the ground with a pop, then licked it with his tongue and swallowed it into his belly. To be honest, he didn't enjoy the taste much. But seeing the little girl's eyes misting, he felt quite happy. The pleasure of teasing Anko simply made the cat excited. "So what else can I do?" Wah! The loud crying spread throughout the classroom. The students turned their heads one after another, and the teacher asked her what happened. Anko cried and said, "See, cat took away 2 of my balls and—" Everyone is confused. Isn't it just 2 dango ball? Why is she crying? However, some students who were near the back seat got a better view and saw the cat licking his paws with a satisfied look on his face. Yes. It seemed really smug and laughing at Anko. Being laughed at by a cat. Well, it's really embarrassing. Stop looking at the cat, Anko. Don't always eat in class. Next time you are caught, I will make you stand up by the door. The sensei rudely pointed out. Anko's tears that were about to stop suddenly started flowing again. Why did I throw my dango ball? And why did I say I was eating dangos? Amidst the chaos of the classroom, Takeshi stood up and left, leaving a sad little girl behind. Thanks to Anko's cry, Takeshi got 400 points this time. Not only that. As time goes by, the points are still slowly increasing, and he feels that if he does one more small prank, he can complete the difficult task of 1,000 points. Certainly. This is not without risk. In order to gain points quickly, he angered Asuma and Anko. Now that the class is about to end, it is best not to appear in the academy for a short time. Let's go out for a walk first. Takeshi thought about it for a couple moments, but seeing that it was still early, he returned to Obito's class, and then made a special trip to the back door near where Asuma was. Asuma was annoyed seeing the cat approaching him. He wanted to teach this damn cat a lesson, so he used ninjutsu, clone jutsu, and transformation jutsu. The next second, a ferocious big dog appeared and rushed towards Takeshi. It looks real. But this is an illusion. With a mocking look in his eyes, Takeshi showed no fear and slapped it away with one attack. Asuma was stunned for a moment. He had never seen such a smart cat. The cat could actually tell that this was an illusory clone and not the real thing. Oi! Idiot Asuma, cats have noses and can tell if it's real or not. Hana Inuzuka on the side laughed, and then she petted her dog. Takeshi's felt something was wrong and quickly ran away. It is indeed quite smart. Hana did not let out her pet dog because she was observing and admiring this smart and troublemaking cat. But unfortunately, the Inuzuka clan did not raise cats. Otherwise, if she gave him some training, as he is highly likely to become a ninja cat. An outstanding ninja beast. This. Asuma blushed slightly, obviously knowing that what he just did was stupid. Asuma, you said he was the one who slapped me on the back, and now you want to use ninjutsu against an ordinary cat. How could you be so cruel to a small kitten? Kurenai's favorability level for Asuma lowered. Asuma looked confused and fell into sadness. As Takeshi rushed out of the academy, he found that the ninja dog hadn't chased after him, so he stopped and opened the system panel to take a look. More point gained. Praise Asuma. Now it has 1050 points, which is enough to exchange for a metamorphosis pill. But before that, it needs to find a safe and secluded place to avoid being disturbed during the metamorphosis. He found a quiet alley. After a few seconds, he bought the metamorphosis pill, then put the pill in his mouth and licked it. No taste. But soon he felt a force emerging from his body. This force was not just chakra. It transformed his body, allowing the body to gradually adapt and be able to produce chakra. At the same time, his body has been greatly strengthened. It is indeed a good thing worth 1,000 points. Meow. Though he still couldn't speak, but it doesn't matter. The cat ninjas who are acquainted with Uchiha clan, Nico Granny is her name, I think? Despite not being able to speak, why be afraid as he has system? There are human speeches already available for purchase in it. Let's try out chakra. Takeshi began to experiment with his body. After experimenting for a while, I found that my physical fitness, speed, etc. had improved a lot, but the most important thing was that I was able to circulate chakra on my own. This is the foundation of the ninja beast. Though, Takeshi does not yet have the ability to release ninjutsu, but this is not a big problem. As long as there are enough points, the system store can meet all needs. For example, Needle Jizo. It requires 3,000 points. This amount is not high, because there is a much simpler fireball jutsu, but it still costs 3,000. It can be seen that the ninjutsu exchange in the store is not priced according to difficulty. Cats have fur all over their bodies, so Needle Jizo is indeed the most suitable for them. In addition, after observing it, the cheap ninjutsu in the list can be summarized in one word: simple. Think about it too. A cat only has 4 legs. No matter how agile he is, he can't outrun a water bullet. Want to use these difficult ninjutsu? No problem. If he can pay more points, the system will help simplify it to the point where it can be completed with just one click. Oh. Takeshi happily searched for another ninjutsu, the Rasengan. This ninjutsu is a no-seal ninjutsu, which requires no seals at all, and should be relatively easy for ninja beasts to master. He found the Rasengan at the 5,000. Thank you Namikaze Minato, thank you Jiraiya. Okay, let's set a small goal for myself and get these 2 ninjutsu first. Takeshi jumped around various walls with some excitement. At this time, a dog barked from below. Woof woof, a Shiba Inu. Takeshi looked down at it from the wall, with a trace of disdain in his eyes. I am a ferocious ninja cat. You are a weak pup, why don't you get out of here? Woof! White puppy barked again. It is so difficult to bear. Takeshi readied himself, then quickly jumped down from the wall, and adjusted his attack posture with his 2 claws in the air. Claw attack. AWO, the white puppy couldn't hide, and was hit in the leg by a claw, so he howled immediately. Although Takeshi is still young, after being transformed by the Metamorphosis pill, his physical fitness is no weaker than that of an adult cat. If he had fully utilized his chakra, this white puppy might have broken bones. He ran away in fear. Takeshi did not pursue him. The grind never ends. From now on, all of Konoha will be my points-boosting dungeon. Neither animals nor people can escape. There is plenty of time to deal with them. And the shopkeeper just contributed 10 points. Stealing a fish is better than bullying him. Takeshi shook his head and ran to Academy. He heard the bell, and the Ninja Academy should have ended. It just happened to go back to the Academy to see if Asuma and Anko were gone. At his current speed, he is not afraid of those 2 little brats at all. If he can't match them, can't he just run? Back at Academy, he saw Asuma looking around, seemingly looking for traces of himself. Takeshi was not worried and even got closer. Damn it, this damn cat is taunting me. Asuma was furious, but his little goddess had just come out of the classroom. He couldn't do something as cruel as beating a cat in front of his goddess. Endure, Asuma. Endure. Young Asuma learned one of the most important lessons in life: patience. At this time, a voice came from below. Takeshi looked down. Isn't this his #1 points-boosting tool? Kitten, I'll take you to eat dried fish. Obito shouted. It's just a stray cat. Do you really think it can? It can understand you. One Uchiha clansman couldn't help but mock. He had endured it for a long time. Since starting Academy, Obito has disgraced their clan. As a result, he was blocked by a cat today and was late. This is not important to him. What is important is that Obito's surname is Uchiha, and his actions are disgracing Uchiha clan name and reputation. Rin said cats are quite smart, so he can definitely understand. Obito was confident. Rin smiled gently on the side, waving and calling Takeshi at the same time, and many people gathered behind her, most of them being girls. They have no resistance to cute things, especially Takeshi, who has not grown yet and has a somewhat delicate kitten appearance. He glanced at Obito, then jumped down from above and onto Obito's shoulder. Look, he's quite smart. Obito smiled at the boy of the same clan. The guy got upset and turned away with an unhappy expression. The next second, Takeshi kicked off his hind legs and jumped from his shoulder into Rin's arms. Since there are girls, why play with boys? Rin, he seems to like you very much. Kurenai felt envious. She also wanted to have such a cat, but unfortunately her father had always refused to let her keep it, saying that keeping a pet would lead to stagnation. Meow, Takeshi meowed, as he struggled to adjust his position and waved to Kurenai. "Are you waving to me?" Yuhi Kurenai was momentarily stunned, then couldn't believe it. She felt the cat seemed to know she'd just mentioned him. "Meow!" Takeshi jumped over as Kurenai caught and hugged him. Asuma's eyes widened. Though everyone has heartaches from time to time, thanks to being Hokage's son, Asuma seemed to have developed certain inclinations at his age, and fell in love with Kurenai early on. He was quite passionate, he was also quite timid. So Asuma saw Takeshi rubbing against Kurenai in her arms. He could only feel envious and unknowingly contributed some points to Takeshi. "I'll take possession of your wife and earn your points. What can you do with me?" Takeshi thought of this and rubbed against Kurenai again blatantly. Of course, Asuma doesn't regard the cat as a love rival, but the hatred is certain. After all, this damn black cat has tricked him a couple of times, and there is more than a little hatred between one child and one cat. Don't underestimate him, he's probably a ninja cat. Well, a natural one. Inuzuka Hana pressed the ninja dog on her shoulder. He felt threatened, so he was a little uneasy and ready to run away. This state was different from how he behaved in class. Hana felt the situation was a bit strange but didn't think much about it. She just thought that the cat was far away before, so he didn't stimulate her ninja dog senses. Her ninja dog's reaction made her sure that the kitten was a ninja cat. Ninja cat. Obito stared at the little black cat with wide eyes and surprise. Cats and dogs are not uncommon, but ninja cats and ninja dogs are rare. "We don't have any natural ninja cats in Konoha. He must have escaped from somewhere," Hana said. She has a basis for saying this. First of all, as Konoha is quite powerful, and wild ninja beasts will avoid it on their own. Secondly, which cat doesn't care about being threatened by a ninja dog? Obito thought of something after hearing this, and suddenly exclaimed, "Did he come from there?" As an Uchiha clansman, he knew that the Nico granny that Uchiha knew that had many ninja cats. Could it be that this little black cat came from there? "Obito, do you know his origin?" "Poor cat, it's so small." The girl's sympathy exploded. Cuteness do not differentiate between men and women. Even Anko Mitarashi, who had originally planned to find an opportunity to retaliate against Takeshi, was wiping tears at this moment, sympathizing with his tragic experience, and had long forgotten about the 2 dango balls taken away from her. She even wanted to treat the kitten to a meal. But she didn't know whether cats couldn't eat sweet food, so Takeshi wasn't really interested in dangos. He didn't fully consume the dangos he took. So from Anko's point of view, this cat is simply evil. "I'm not sure, I just know that there are many ninja cats in this place." Obito blushed. It was the first time that he was surrounded by so many girls, and the sad thing was, they were all focusing on a cat. A half-year-old kitten who blocked his path today and made him late. He didn't know why, but he felt sad in his heart. Kurenai likes cats very much, and she couldn't resist letting go of holding Takeshi. She can't wait to take him home. It can be seen that she is not like this because Takeshi is a ninja cat. She genuinely likes cats. It's a pity that she has a strict father at home. No matter how much she likes him, she can only hug and pet him here. If she takes him home, she is afraid that Takeshi will be controlled by Genjutsu and run away from home the next day. Asuma realizing this and didn't look to bother the kitten anymore. He clearly realized that he had made a big mistake today. How could a human be better than a cat? No matter how mischievous the cat is, in the eyes of the girl, it is just naughty. He is different. Asuma couldn't help but feel depressed when he thought of this, and finally left sadly. Takeshi didn't feel guilty, but felt that he should be quite meritorious for saving a boy who fell in love early. Another thing one is, if Yuhi works harder and trains herself when she is young, she might be able to go further in the future. "I am such a good person," he thought narcissistically. But now, he is facing another crisis. Takeshi stared at Obito, knowing what this guy was talking about. For generations, the Uchiha family has been friends with a person named Granny Nico, who had signed a contract with a group of ninja cats. The most powerful of the ninja cats is a 2-tailed cat called Nakomata. It may not be comparable to powerful ninjas, but it can crush Chunin-level enemies. After thinking about it, Takeshi didn't worry about it. Cats are very territorial creatures. If I went there by myself, forget bullying, and I would probably get beaten up by a group of ninja cats if I even pulled a small prank. Something must be done. He must get stronger. His front paws uneasily grasped Kurenai's hand, while avoiding the sharp tips of his claws from scratching the little girl. You're right, well, you can ask me. Hana knew some inside information, but she couldn't be too specific in front of so many people, so she nodded and comforted her pet dog, and said apologetically, Haimaru is a little uncomfortable with the ninja cat at the moment. I'm leaving now. If you have any questions, you can ask me in class tomorrow. Thank you. Noera Rin bowed respectfully. Hana is slightly older than them, and she is a famous talented girl in the Inuzuka clan. She usually helps everyone in the class a lot, and everyone respects her. Yeah. Hana nodded slightly, then carried Haimaru and left. Let's leave the academy first, Rin suggested. Okay, Anko, please hold the cat for me. My father doesn't agree with me raising a cat. Kurenai reluctantly handed over the black cat that had been grabbing her hand. Only the clan knows that place. I'll ask later if... Obito was about to say, but the little black cat jumped out of Rin's arms and slapped him on the head. Of course Takeshi didn't use too much force to avoid hurting him. However, this scene looked a bit funny, and he also expressed his dissatisfaction at the right time. What are you doing? Obito covered his head, quite hurt. Even though he was so eager to help, why didn't this black cat appreciate it and went to hit him? It didn't make sense. Before he could get angry, the black cat jumped back into Rin's arms. Many girls looked weirded out. While this cat was cute, but it was just a little bully, a bit uncontrollable. Only Rin said thoughtfully, could it be that he doesn't agree with what you said? Obito was at a loss. Could it be that his guess was wrong? Maybe it's true. Look at him. Anko pointed at the little black cat. After Rin said that, the little black cat rubbed his head against Rin's chin affectionately, seeming to agree with her. So, he didn't come from the place you mentioned, Obito. He might really be a wild and natural ninja cat. Kurenai couldn't help but feel happy. If the little black cat really came from the place Obito said, maybe he would be sent back and he would never be seen again. This is better. At least I have a chance to see him again and play with him. Perfect. Thinking of this, she became even more reluctant to let Obito take Takeshi away. It's possible. Obito is not sure either. He usually has no contact with things related to Nico Granny nor Cat Fortress in the clan, so he doesn't know much about them. Most of his thoughts are just his own guesses. But who can raise him? And if you want to raise a ninja cat, you should report it to the village, right? A girl whispered. It's really not feasible to register, and let's test him first and then decide who will raise this kitten. My family can do it too.
If you're a true Naruto fan, hit that like button and subscribe for more anime stories.